Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you're doing well. This is going to be my monthly update for pan in every palette. Which month update? I couldn't tell you. I am living in a world where time is irrelevant at this point. It just doesn't mean much to me as far as life goes. Time is just there and I'm just living my life. So if we're being honest, this is January's monthly update, but let's face it, it might end up being February's monthly update. Anyways, pan in every palette is a project pan where I have the ultimate goal of hitting a pan in every palette that I own one day. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I've mentioned that before. You guys know this is a long-term project that will go on for as long as I could stand it. I am having a lot of fun. I'm currently working on 3 palettes within this project alone, trying to hit pan on them. Of course, once I do hit a pan, it rolls out of this project and something new rolls in to take its place. But obviously, if I hit pan in a palette in any project or not in a project, that counts as a pan in a palette as well. And I am tracking my pan percentage in the hopes of one day getting to 100% palettes with pan. Before we get into the pan percentage topic, let's go over the 3 palettes that I've been working on this past month. I'm pretty happy. There are some months where the palettes don't get a lot of use. I don't feel like they got a ton of use this month, but I feel like they all got some use and I'm happy with that. Out of the 3 palettes in this project, the one that I've used the least is once again my Too Faced Razzle Dazzle Berry palette, for no other reason than I just am trying to focus on my Pan That palette more than anything else. I love this palette. I love the shadow that I'm trying to pan on. It is a very wearable shade. Like literally, I think I could wear it every day if I wanted to, but I'm trying to behave and focus on other priorities like Pan That palette. Also in January, I was kind of in that transitional, finishing up a lot of projects, starting a bunch of new projects, and I was just kind of all over the place. I was just trying to hit some other goals, like using eyeshadows that were in Project 10 Uses and using eyeshadows that were in my Panner's Pan. So I was just kind of all over the place the first part of January, but I did manage to use this shade right here 3 times over the past month, which is honestly pretty good for me. Still no pan. I do also use the shade on the end quite a bit, and I think it will be pretty funny if I end up hitting pan on that one first. I know it kind of looks like pan, but I don't think it is. I thought I saw pan in the camera, but no, I don't think it's pan, you guys. It just kind of looks like that. But those are the 2 shades I tend to use together when I do kind of a muted pink look. Love this shadow so much, love this palette so much, but I only used it 3 times over the past month, and there's still no pan. The palette that I used the next most over the past month is the one that just rolled into this project at the last update. This is the Sephora The Beauty of Giving Back face palette. I chose the bronzer in this palette to work on, and I did use it 10 times. This is the bronzer right here, this big pan right here. I did subsequently add in a bronzer into a separate project, and so I've been using that bronzer a little bit more. I kind of said in the project where I introduced that bronzer that I needed to prioritize that bronzer, but I still want to work with this one. And I'm thinking like a 60-30 split. So like if I could use this one 10 days out of the month and that other bronzer the rest of the days, I think I would be pretty happy with that. Not that I want to be that specific, but I did manage to use this 10 times in the past month. And yeah, I'm very happy with that. I really enjoyed it. I think when I introduced this palette at the last update, I mentioned that my brush was going to be focusing at this bottom half, but guess what? This bottom half is way, way too deep for my skin tone at the present moment. So what I've been doing is just kind of swiping the brush up and down, and that works out much better for me, because if I just focus my brush in one place, it is a bit too much. It's a lovely bronzer. It doesn't look like I've used it at all. It literally looks exactly the same as it did last month, even though I've used it 10 times. So I have a feeling it's not going to be that easy to hit pan, especially with it being as pigmented as it is, but I am enjoying it very much. And I'm happy to be using this palette very much. I also reached for this peachy blush several times over the past month, and I absolutely love that peach color. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. I had to make myself stop using it because I just wanted to reach for it every day, and it's not in a project pan, but I had fun playing with that. I did use a highlighter a couple of times as well. It's a nice highlighter, but again, I'm focusing on other highlighters. I didn't use anything else. Oh, I think I might have used this blush once too. That was nice as well. But I'm really glad that I put this palette in this project and that I'm finally using it and enjoying it. Really, prior to putting it in this project, I'd used these 3 cream blushes several times, but the rest of them were basically untouched, and I'm having a lot of fun playing around with them. All right, and the palette that I managed to use the most the past month was my Morphe 35F palette. This has definitely been a go-to for me. Not the shadow that I thought I was going to be working on, but another shadow. This is the shadow I thought I was going to be working on. It is a gorgeous chocolatey brown shade. I am wearing it today kind of above the greens and blues that I have on my eyes, like right there. I think you could kind of see it. I did manage to use this 4 times over the past month, but the shadow that I used the most was this top one up here. I used 17 times, and you could see quite a dip starting to form right there. And these pans are not deep. I have hit pan in one of these Morphe palettes before, and I think I did it in like 20 something uses. So I suspect that pan is coming soon. I primarily use this as an inner corner highlight, sometimes a brow bone highlight, and it is amazing. I'm absolutely amazed by how wonderful that shadow is, how good it is, how effective it is. It is such high quality for such a low price. Morphe, I know, has really been through the ringer, and I don't know where the brand is currently standing and what people's views are towards Morphe. But when I use a shadow like this as an inner corner highlight, I am reminded of why they were what they were at one point. I mean, they really are a good brand with some decent quality shadows. I know it's a lot of browns, but this is a gorgeous palette, and I'm really glad to be using it. And cautiously optimistic that I will have pan at next month's update. I think I'm at 26 uses with that white shade, and I'm pretty sure the shade that I hit pan on in the last Morphe palette took me 26 uses. So I'm right at the same place I was when I hit pan. Of course, that was a matte shadow that I used in my crease. This is a shimmer shadow that I used as an inner corner highlight. So totally different shadows, totally different functions, used with totally different brushes. So it's not like apples to apples, but I'm guessing I will be hitting pan very soon on that shadow, which is super exciting. So no new pans in this project for this month, nothing rolling out and nothing rolling in. Let's move on to talk about pan percentage. Like I said at the intro, my goal is to have 100% pan percentage one day. As of last month, I was at 10.5% pan percentage, which is amazing because to have 10% of my makeup collection with pan feels like I'm 1/10 of the way there, man. I mean, it just feels good. Like, I think when I started tracking my pan percentage, I was at like 2%, and now I'm at like 10%. So it feels really, really good. However, not only did I not hit any pans with these 3 palettes that I'm working on in this project, but I have not hit any pans in any other project as well. Over the past month, or since the last update, I should say, I've been just getting to know my Pan That palette, which is basically a brand new little quad. And I've been enjoying my e.l.f. 100 pan palette, which already has a pan showing. So that's not even part of this discussion anymore. And yeah, so no new pans. What did change as far as my pan percentage is for the last several months, I've had 389 palettes in my collection, but over the past month, I finished 1/2 of a duo that I was working on. That was the Ulta Beauty face palette, where it was a sample. It was a sample palette, but one pan was a bronzer and one pan was a highlighter, and I completely finished the bronzer. And I moved that entire palette out of my face palette inventory, and it moved to my highlighter singles inventory. So as far as I'm concerned, my overall palette count went from 389 palettes back down to 388 palettes. So I still am at 41 palettes with one pan or more, which is exactly where I was last month. But now, instead of dividing that into 389 palettes. I'm now dividing that into 388 palettes. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually change my pan percentage at all. It's just it's still at 10.5% pan percentage. I have discovered that if I tack a number on or off the overall count, it doesn't really have as big of an effect on my pan percentage as if I add palettes with pan to the other number, but that's okay. It still means that overall I'm heading in the right direction. My makeup use up is working, my project panning is working, and my low buy is working. So I'm very happy to be back down to 388 palettes overall. And I feel like the number could be going down again in this year. I think I'm going to finish my baby pan that palette this year altogether, and that will knock off another palette from my overall palette count. And that is very, very exciting. I cannot wait. Yeah, very exciting. So no change to my pan percentage as of today. I'm still at 10.5% with 41 out of 388 palettes having one or more pan. But I will keep working on these 3 palettes, and hopefully we will have an increase in my pan percentage by next month's update. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.